NASA and JPL have leaked a potentially hazardous asteroid orbit and tsunami impact scenario. I'm also going to share with you the white papers, very detailed, showing the implications of an asteroid impact on the coast. The tsunamis that would be created from this impact is absolutely insane. So I'm going to share the papers with you. I'm going to share the graphs and give you my analysis on it. And I'm also going to read to you some information. Now, this specific article and white papers, the white papers that I'm going to be referencing, is titled Asteroid Impact Tsunami of 2880. Now, yes, 2880, that's a long way away. Here's what's interesting, though. There's going to be at least a dozen close flybys with this same asteroid, and this specific asteroid has caused a uproar on the global stage. Literally, high-ranking officials around the world have put together plans to offset these type of asteroids, especially after looking at the white papers and the orbit, the scenarios, and this is one of many, folks. This is one of many. Now, it is a long way away. When I show you this orbit, though, it looks like it could definitely hit Earth. Now, they're saying the calculations are about 1 in 300, about a 1 in 300 chance, and then they give you a lot more details that make you realize that could be a lot higher, that could also be a lot lower. So let me just read this to you real quick, because if there's going to be at least a dozen flybys over the next several hundred years, when's the next one? Now, here's what's also interesting is I found this chart. I found this orbit on Forbes magazine. They showed this simulation, this computer simulation of what it looks like when the Earth flies through space, plus latest calculations on new computer-generated models. And this one specifically, I don't even think they realized it, but you could see this asteroid. It looked like it was hitting the Earth. It just went, looked like a little fly in the sky, a little mosquito, a little nano mosquito on the screen, and it wasn't. So I'm going to share that with you, but let me just read some of this off to you real quick. So there is a 5% chance that a child born today will see an impact of a 100-meter diameter asteroid. That's pretty high in my opinion. Now, Mr. G's prediction for asteroid 1950 DA is not the first low probability forecast of a near-Earth object encounter, but it is the first that has not been ruled out quickly by subsequent observation. In time, as radar astronomy and orbital computational techniques improve, other asteroids may become the ones to watch for. Currently, this specific asteroid, 1950 DA, serves a message for us to learn more about asteroids, their orbits, and their hazard. If the 1950 DA strikes the ocean, we calculate that the result of a tsunami would be damaging basin wide and similar in magnitude to that from the Eltonin impact of southern Chile 2.16 million years ago. Still, odds are that 200 asteroids have struck the planet and stirred waves of the scale described here since Tyrannosaurus Rex, hello, last walked the Earth. Rarity requires perspective. Well, I'm here now, folks, so prepare. Joking. Okay, bad joke. The rub lies, this is also interesting right here. The rub lies in that, unlike terrestrial sourced hazards, impact risk is unbounded, not vanishing from an Earth life-threatening 10-kilometer collision within the next 60 million years. Or even an Earth-like extinguishing 100-kilometer of collision within the next 12 billion years type of apocalypse. Now, humanity lives with the calculus of infinite devastation times as well as probability. So to begin to address these consequences, the United States Congress mandated that NASA search and track 90% of all kilometer-sized asteroids in near-Earth orbit, and this was back in 2010. So far, groups such as Linear, NEAT, and Spacewatch have identified 600 such objects. And that's the tip of the iceberg. The search appears, though, according to these numbers, to be half complete. Discovered in 1950, asteroid 1950 DA was tracked. Here's another very interesting point that I found. In 1950, asteroid 1950 DA was tracked for just 17 days and then lost until the year 2000. In the year 2000, when astronomers found it heading within a 20 lunar distances of Earth by merging information from the original sightings with new high-precision radar observations of the current position and velocity. So in 2002, Mr. G was able to extrapolate the orbit of the comet 1950 DA more precisely than that of any other near-Earth object to date. They concluded that the 1.1 kilometer diameter asteroid may impact our planet on 2880 March 16. Before then, however, the 1950 DA will experience a dozen close encounters with Earth. That's where the devil in the details is, folks, right there. Mars and the moon as well, because irregular patterns suffered during each encounter widened the computed variance in each subsequent orbit. Mr. G, in 2002, conceded that the 1950 DA's best position in 2880 is uncertain to many lunar distances. So it's like, yeah, it's probably going to hit the Earth, but we don't know. But no, the chances are pretty low. Actually, the chances are really low. They're only 0.3%. Yeah, that's it. We'll tell them 0.33%. That's the highest probability, folks. But when you look at the computer animations, there's one computer animation. Stay with me, folks, because in just a minute, I am going to share with you an orbit that'll blow your mind. It looks like this thing hits the Earth, and it looks like it hits the Earth, and it splits in two when it hits the Earth. So stay with me, because now I'm going to share with you the doom. Put your seatbelts on. Keep your hands and feet inside the ride at all times. And if you're scared easily, if you have astronomophobia and are scared about the discussion of asteroids and comets and planetary bodies outside of what you were taught in school, the typical planets, if you're scared easily, I would strongly recommend turning this off right now and watching something completely different. Maybe you could turn on, what would be something not, maybe watch Full House. You know, watch an old 80s sitcom or something like that, because usually there's not as much that'll scare you. If you're scared easily, I'm just recommending turn it off now. All right, so I warned you. So for all the trolls out there that's saying I'm a fear porn guy, well, if you like fear porn, there's other opportunities for you besides this program. This is not in any way designed to give you orgasmic pleasure and fear. So let's continue. Here is what I find interesting. Now, the geographic coordinates for the 1950 DA's point of contact, other than to suggest that a 70-degree west longitude centers near the impact facing hemisphere. So these models, they wanted to see what would happen if there was a tsunami. So what they did was, and I'll actually start, let me change the, here we go. You're probably tired of looking at this. So this is the actual paper that I was referring to, the Asteroid Impact Tsunami of 2880, March 16th. It's a fast-track paper. And then this is what some of you have been waiting for. Some of you are probably like, okay, Rex, we've heard enough of the small talk. Show us the tsunami impact. Here it is. And I'm going to show you more graphs here in a moment, but this is just a quick teaser to whet your appetite. As you can see, if there was an initial impact cavity right there off the East Coast, this would be within 2 hours all the way down past Florida and all the way up into Canada. I mean, this is intense. A 19-kilometer initial impact cavity. And wait until I get into with you. Okay, let's go back here for a minute. Okay. Here's some more papers. You can see the impact right there. You can see how it starts, where it's at. And then if you get down here, you can see the height of the waves up to 139 meters. That's insane. It's over 300 feet, folks. Yes, I can count sometimes. I mean, that's intense. And then here you can look at the envelope height in meters right here. Wow. Look at that. So, in conclusion, let's go back and look at these charts here for a second again. Because if you're on the coast, on the east coast or the west coast, which is where the majority of the population centers are, these are the opportunities you could look forward to if something like this went down. And think of all the nuclear reactors that are next to fault lines. Not fault lines, well, and fault lines, but also all the nuclear reactors that are out there close to the coast. So, in conclusion, I went over that with you already. Let's get into the damage. We calculate that the result tsunami would be damaging basin-wide and similar in magnitude to that of the Eltepin impact off of southern Chile. I went over that with you guys already. Now, then it also talks about there's been 200 odds that have already struck. I'm going to take a look at this over here. You can see some more height. You can see the height in meters. So if you're on the coast, you know, maybe just something to think about, having an option to prepare for something like this just in case. Now, I'm going to share with you the orbits. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Look at how close that gets. Let's zoom in on that a little bit. Here we go. That's pretty dang close. Pretty dang close. I'm going to share this with you one more time, then I'm going to show some more graphs and charts with you. Here we go. Okay. Now let's look at the next chart. This is animation 2. Whoa. Looks like it's split in half. Look at that. What happens right there? Does it just change the position because it gets so close to the Earth that the gravity causes it to change, the thermal dynamics or whatever? It looks like it splits in two. Kind of looks like it hits the Earth almost. Because if the red dot is supposed to be the asteroid, that's why it splits in two when it goes past the Earth. Right? Am I wrong here? Now, obviously, these are computer-generated models, and this is supposed to be a long way away. But what if this isn't that specific orbit? What if this is one of the earlier orbits? We never a straight answer anyway, right? So many times being caught with deceit, special effects, staged events, showing moon landings done in studios, and then people think we never even went there because of that. I certainly feel we've been there. I feel that there's stuff that we don't even know about that they're doing in space, and I feel that's another good reason why we don't see the best images of the entire globe, because of all the space junk out there, all the Star Wars technology that they have, literally, to maybe offset these kind of events. And they've been talking about how to offset these impacts. Here's the thing. If you know about these impacts 100 years, 200 years, 800 years in advance, you have a good chance of being able to do something to move the orbit of that asteroid or that comet. If you don't know about it, that's what you need to worry about. That's why it's a good idea to have the eye in the sky at all times in every aspect, so we can keep track of stuff like this. Because that looks like it hits the Earth. Right there. Boom. Dunna, 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 dunna. Boom! All right, let's go back to let's look at model number 3. Pretty dang close. Dun, 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 dun. Boom! The cosmic nanobug. What do you guys think? Zoom in more. Look at that. Boom! Right over it. Right over it. Right there. Thanks, Forbes. Glad you shared this with us. I'm glad that you shared with us how the Earth moves through space, and you used this as a model so that now I can share it with you, ladies and gentlemen. That's just crazy. That is crazy. Let's take a look at another model now. Model number 4, animation number 4. Boom! Every one of these things, it looks like it hits it. And they're saying it's only got a 0.33% chance, a 1 in 200 chance. Well, it looks a lot closer than that in these computer animated graphics here. Wow. The more I look at this too, it's just like, boom, right there. Scattered into oblivion. The next event. And this is making me think, are there going to be any of those trans-Neptunian objects getting closer to the perihelion as this happens? Are there other giant planets that are pulling these things in? Or not? I don't know. Just asking a question. I mean, that's what people do sometimes. They ask questions, especially when they don't get a whole lot of fluoride in their diets and lithium. So look at this. Going, going, going. All right, so what it's doing right now is it's literally... Okay, we're in the year 2600. It's moving up. Oh, okay. It's not going to the 2880. It's just going back and... All right, if you can see the numbers on the bottom there. Well, this one isn't as exciting as the other ones. And you know what song I'm listening to right now while I'm showing this to you guys? Here I Am, Will You Send Me an Angel by Scorpions. Thank you, Pandora. It's like it reads my mind. In the land of the morning star. Hello. So anyway, I just wanted to share this with you guys. Don't worry about it. You guys can always meet me at Terra Vivos. You can always meet me there in X Point. Got a whole bunch of bunkers out there. About 2,000 square feet made out of concrete and steel. They're pretty cool. Pretty cool. And if not, hey, you might be safer in your own home in the middle of the city. If you live in Chicago or Atlanta or San Antonio or Dallas or, Miami or New York City or Detroit or Flint, Michigan or, Seattle or, I don't know, Phoenix, Los Angeles, San Diego, Oakland. I'm sure you're going to be a lot safer there than you would be in the middle of nowhere, South Dakota, in a 2,000 square foot concrete bunker. Totally makes sense. And anyway, so this is fascinating, though. I mean, the more research I do in these large planets, these trans-Neptunian objects, and the more research I do in comets and asteroids and stuff, it becomes, this is like the new rabbit hole that I didn't want to go down. No, I think at first it's just because I didn't really have a lot of interest in it, but now I'm really starting to dig deeper, and I think there's a reason for it. I think there's a reason I'm syncing up with this and starting to do more research into these solar anomalies in the heavens and these scriptures that I'm reading to you guys that talk about the cosmic events. And I also want to share with you guys later, I'm going to do another podcast today that shows the Sumerian star map in ancient cuneiform clay tablet that shows 13 planets and the sun, and it actually could be our solar system at that time that they put it together, not necessarily another solar system where Nibiru came from. And I don't think it's the Pleiades. It doesn't line up with the Pleiades, I don't think. So, because the Pleiades, you've got the 7 sisters, the 7 stars. So, anyway, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. Question everything. Thank you for being here with me. Be the change you want to see. LeakProject.com. NASA and JPL have leaked a potentially hazardous asteroid orbit and tsunami impact scenario. I'm also going to share with you the white papers very detailed, showing the implications of an asteroid impact on the coast. The tsunamis that would be created from this impact is absolutely insane. So I'm going to share this as one of many. Now, it is a long way away. When I show you this orbit, though, it looks like it could definitely hit Earth. Now, they're saying the calculations are about 1 in 300, about a 1 in 300 chance. And then they give you a lot more details that make you realize that could be a lot higher. That could also be a lot lower. So let me just read this to you real quick, because if there's going to be at least papers with you, I'm going to share the graphs and give you my analysis on it. And I'm also going to read to you some information. Now, this specific article and white papers, the white papers that I'm going to be referencing, is titled Asteroid Impact Tsunami of 2880. Now, yes, 2880, that's a long way away. Here's what's interesting, though. There's going to be at least a dozen close flybys with this same asteroid, and this specific asteroid has caused a uproar on the global stage. Literally, high-ranking officials around the world have put together plans to offset these type of asteroids, especially after looking at the white papers and the orbit, the scenarios, and this is one of many, folks. At least a dozen flybys over the next several hundred years. When's the next one? Now, here's what's also interesting is I found this chart. I found this orbit on Forbes magazine. They showed this simulation, this computer simulation of what it looks like when the Earth flies through space, plus latest calculations on new computer-generated models. And this one specifically, I don't even think they